how the heck do you get your family to adopt a healthy lifestyle, your kids to adopt strategies that will help them actually want to eat healthy, to wake up, do push-ups, pull-ups, whatever it is. But how is it that you can crack the code on getting the whole culture created in your family to embrace this longevity and wellness lifestyle? I'm here with my amazing wife, Erica. We're going to talk about how you can create and cultivate a healthy culture for your family and ultimately leave a generational legacy of health for your family. We know that the things that we're integrating with our kids, they're going to integrate into their household, and their children and their children's children are going to be integrating this. And if not, we're going to spank those little behinds because they're not following the script.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just joking.
So I think what would be really great is to start this with a story. This is a true story. Our kids are in camp this summer, and we love to set them up with camps because they get to have different experiences, meet new kids, new people, try new things, etc. So this camp he was at, they're doing this baking activity, and they're, it's not like an organic food camp, it's just like a regular old camp. And so they're putting like the food dye into the cookies, and they're putting the M&Ms into the cookie mix and all of this. And so he comes home and he's like, I'm saying, how was your day today? What'd you guys do at your camp? And he's like, yeah, we baked today, but it was horrible. And I'm like, what? Why was it horrible?
By the way, he's 7 years old, right?
This is the other one, the 9-year-old.
Okay, the 9-year-old. Okay, so he's 9 years old.
He's like, it was horrible. And I'm like, why was it horrible? What happened? And he's like, well, they're making cookies. He's like, first they're using vegetable oil. And he's like, dun, dun, dun. Like, they cannot be putting vegetable oil in these cookies.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He's like, secondly, they dumped so much sugar in there. And he's like, then they dumped all of this dye, this food coloring in there. And then they sprinkled in M&Ms. And so they
to make matters worse, they put in M&Ms.
Yeah, it was like, he was appalled. And so they put these cookies together and they baked them. And he was like, I didn't even want one, because we've just talked so much about what's in food, the importance of healthy lifestyle. And granted, if he had eaten one, it wouldn't have been a big deal. I mean, it's like 80-20. He's eating healthy 95% of the time. There's the odd time where he's having a treat here or there. So it wouldn't have been a big deal, but it was his own intrinsic motivation to choose, I do not want this cookie because I know enough about what's in these ingredients. Right. So that starts with number one. The first thing you need to do, if you're gonna raise a family that is committed to health and wellness, you, the parents, have to be committed to it first. This is not a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. Your kids are going to model whatever you are doing. Yes. So that's number one.
Yeah, and I think if you don't have an identity of you being healthy, that I'm going to be fit, that I'm going to work out, that I'm going to eat healthy, that I'm going to go to bed at a decent hour, that I'm not going to, be on social media right before I go to bed, all of these little things, right? If you adopt an identity of being healthy and I'm going to embrace this longevity lifestyle, right? Because it is a lifestyle. Then it's something that exudes from you, and yes, it's easier for your kids to embrace it as well. Now, one of the things that I think that we've done a really good job with the children is we have created an environment and a culture of affirmation around what we want to see. So they have little identities that are developing as well. And so I can remember, you sharing to Justice when he passed on something like 5 or 6 years ago, right? When he was maybe 5 or 4 years old. I can remember you saying like, Justice, that's a really amazing decision because it does have a lot of sugar in it, or whatever it was, right? The kids would go to church and they would come back with all this candy. I'm like,
why is the church the one place where they're like,
why the heck are they pumping our kids full of like Tootsie Rolls and Skittles, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like unbelievable. But they would come back with a handful of stuff that they were given at church, and they would just say, hey, look, we want to exchange this for something
We would swap
healthy.
it out for something.
And we would swap it out for something and we would affirm them at that time, being like, hey, look, we're so proud of you for being committed to this lifestyle and the decision that you're making. And then we would also say, hey, look, if you ate that, you've seen what happens to those kids. They go crazy, don't they? Oh
Well,
my gosh.
they've done. It's not like they've never had conventional food, right? So they know
Yeah,
that how they feel.
And we point it out, right? We'll be like, hey, look, that kid is going crazy. Or look, Justice, you're going crazy. Isaac, you're going crazy right now. It's because you ate that thing. And this is what we want you to know, is when you eat this, that's how you act.
And that's how you feel, and you experience the results. So it's helping them to make those connections when they're young.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing now, at least with our two older children, is that they're at an age where they have the autonomy to make decisions on their own. We're not with them everywhere they go. They get handed little candies and things when they're at
Yes.
church or they're at homeschool co-op or whatever it is. And so they have the opportunity to eat those things, but they're picking up on the information that, oh, hey, I'm feeling tired now. Yeah, it's because I ate that thing and my sugar is crashing. So it's just helping them to recognize those things.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So we've got a little bit of a list, right? The first thing is you have to commit as the parent. You've got to commit.
Yes.
And you have to also commit to, affirming the identity that you want your kids to have. But we also know that we need to essentially prioritize health, right? We have to prioritize healthy food. We need to prioritize healthy nutrition. So talk to them a little bit about that.
I think our society, this is, I think, central to American culture, is that we treat children like there's some kind of different species when it comes to food. It's like literally you go to any restaurant and what's on the kids menu is pizza, french fries, chicken nuggets, and like macaroni and cheese, like what they call kid food. And so there's tons of children that are growing up in American culture that's all they want to eat. They want to eat carbs and pasta and processed food and chicken nuggets, and that's what they're given all the time. Well, we never really succumbed to that just because we've been living healthy lifestyle ever since we got married, and we've never been on this track of, I'm going to create this separate meal over here for the children that consists of chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese that's quote unquote kid food. No, I just make one meal, and the meal is healthy, and everyone is expected to eat the meal and what's put on the table.
And tell them though, when the kids push back on the food that they did not want to eat, it took like one or two times and then they got on track with it. But tell them what you would do.
You're just going to bed hungry. Like that's what's
it.
happening. Like I literally do not have a problem with that. Like you will be in bed hungry. And so I had
if you don't want to eat, fine.
That's
Don't
fine.
Eat, but you're going to bed hungry.
You'll be in bed hungry.
And then guess what? They're going to go and eat that food.
Exactly. I had a friend who was really struggling with her kid, and he was super picky. All he wanted was crackers and bread and carbs all the time. And I'm like, look, girl, you just got to put your foot down and tell him, this is what's for dinner, and if you don't want it, that's fine, but
right.
I really don't want you to go to bed hungry. And she was like hemming and hawing about it. She's like, I really can't do that. Like, I can't sit in a bed hungry. And I'm like, look, just trust me. Just do it like a couple of times. Guaranteed he's going to be eating. He's not going to starve. He's going to be eating. And so I remember, because we were visiting her one weekend and her family, and she did. She did two different meals. She was like, this is what's for dinner. You eat it or you go to bed hungry. And by the second time she instilled that, he was gobbling up that dinner, and she was like, who is this child? And so sometimes it's the parents' fault because we don't have the confidence to put our foot down. But really, nutrition is one of the best gifts that we can give our children to help them get a great start in life. And so it's something that we really take seriously.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that we talked about that's really important to build a longevity culture, a wellness culture in your family, is exercise time. So we create that. You know, we go for walks after dinner, which I think is a really important habit to get into. It just helps with digestion, and it's good to get sunlight as well as the sun is setting, or whatever time it is after you eat dinner. And the other thing we do is we love to swim. We love to dance. We have dance parties where we'll play some really fun music, and then we'll dance. You love Michael Jackson, and
of course.
Some of course you love Michael Jackson. But you know, there's just fun dance parties that we have, and then the other thing that we've done is we've created a morning routine for our kids, and we have a checklist that they have to go through. And one of the things that they need to do is they need to exercise one of the first things in the morning, they wake up, they brush their teeth, they do a bunch of different things. But then one of the things that they do is either push-ups, squats, pull-ups, or jumping jacks, right? And so I'll ask them like, hey, what did you do this morning? I did my push-ups, I did my pull-ups, I did my jumping jacks or whatever. And so I think that's another thing that we've done as a culture that's got them moving, but we hold them accountable to it, right? We're like, hey, did you do it? No, I didn't. Get down and give me 15 right now. And then they'll do that. And then the other fun thing that we do, well, you tell them, what do we do if they just get up out of the table before asking to be excused? If they do not say, may I please be excused from the table, what do we do?
Oh, it's a push-up culture. We actually stole this one from Dr. David Jockers, who's a great friend of ours.
That's how he disciplines. He doesn't spank. He does push-ups to the point where they're feeling a burn, right?
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
You hurt your sister, give me 100 push-ups. 100, Dad? I can't do 100. Get down and give me 100 push-ups.
I cannot imagine him being like drill sergeant like that, but all right.
But it's crazy. Like his kids are like, oh my gosh, and he doesn't let them have many breaks, right? But that's kind of a funny like fitness culture that he's built in with his kids. Like his spanking is grueling fitness activities.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially for young boys, it's really important for them to have physical outlets. I mean, even when our kids are bickering at each other, they're just going at it, they're kind of bouncing off the walls. I mean, I'll just tell them, we've done this before, go outside and run laps around the house. Like, you got to get out some of that physical energy that you have, because it's otherwise
they're
they
like
can
screaming.
be very destructive. Yeah, totally.
Otherwise we're stroking out in the kitchen because we're like, oh my gosh, too loud, too much stuff going on.
Yeah, so I think that's really good to build that in as a family.
And one thing that you've done is you've gained 5 pounds of muscle, like in the last, 6 months or 3 months?
I don't know if it's 5. I honestly don't know if I've gained it. I think my body composition may have just changed, but
right. But you're maybe you've taken adipose tissue and turned it
possibly
into muscle, right? Which is what I've seen, and but you've done that through adopting a fitness identity. Just share quickly about what that's done, because it's impacted the family in a cool way too.
Yeah, I mean, you know my story. I've struggled with working out ever since we've gotten married 15 years ago. And I finally was like, I am so sick of hopping on this wagon and jumping off and being inconsistent. I read James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, and it gave me the permission that I needed to start with a small commitment. So I literally, I don't know if you remember this, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I literally started out with 5 minutes a day, and I would literally be like, help me commit. I'm doing squats in the sauna or by the kitchen stirring a stir fry, like squats at the stove. And just that 5 minute a day commitment and not breaking that chain of commitment for a while helped to change my identity of, hey, I'm a person that doesn't miss my workouts.
Yeah.
So it was a combination of that, and then just finding a way to move that I love. I love that you like to push around super heavy weights, but I needed to find something that worked for me. So I still strength train, but I do a combo of that and Pilates. So it was a combination of just changing the identity, giving myself permission to start small, and then creating a plan that I could execute daily. And so that's changed the game for me. And I've brought our kids into it too, because I'm like, you guys need to be exercising every single day as well. So if I feel like, they're kind of in a slump or whatever, or people are kind of at each other in the house, hey, we're doing a workout routine. Everybody get off your butts. I'm putting it on the Apple TV and we're going to go. And I don't want to hear any complaining about it. And they do.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Now this one that you put was limits what is it?
Screen time.
Yeah. Okay, talk about that. This is huge, right? This is a big challenge. It's a screen culture. It's a social media culture for a lot of families. So talk about what we've done here.
Yeah, and I totally get that this is a battle for families, because especially if you have kids that are more in the teenage years, you're constantly fighting the pull of kids wanting to be on their phones, wanting to be plugged into social media, on YouTube, on screens, like all of these things. And I think for us, we've taken a very conservative approach with this. We've basically said our kids are not getting on social media anytime soon. And even with the screen time that we allow, it's...
we're not going to let them get on social media till after 16, potentially after they leave the house, because it's so toxic.
It is really destructive based on the research. And so for us, we've just created a culture where our kids understand that screens are not the priority. You're getting outside, playing, being creative, building something, making something, interacting in relationship with your family. Those things are the priority above you getting to watch your favorite TV show or whatever. And so I think we're going to have to continue to make that a priority and hold on to that the older they get, because the culture is constantly pulling the opposite way.
Yeah, and just so you know, like, we don't let our kids get on any screens throughout the week, like as far as iPads are concerned. And we give them like an hour on the weekend for games, right? And we're not talking about like we'll watch they'll watch some educational shows or whatever.
Yeah, they do get some screen time.
Yeah, throughout the week, but it's very minimal, and I think that's the key, is like minimizing it. And look, when we've gone on vacation, we've let our kids be on a screen for 5 hours while we're driving somewhere, or like on a flight across the country to Los Angeles or something like that. Like the kids will like be a completely different beasts. They'll be like little, like challenging children. And so we've seen this, and we're just like, no, we're not gonna do
Think
this.
about how you feel when you've been sitting there on a screen, in front of a screen for 5 hours looking at something. And with all of the development that you've had, your brain's developed, your body's developed, you're a man.
Yeah.
These little bodies don't have the capacity to hold all that.
And another thing that you've done is when we went to Switzerland on vacation for our 15th year wedding anniversary, and one of the things that you were doing is you were controlling the kids' screen time.
Oh, 100%.
From Switzerland. You're like,
because I know grandparents are going to just let them do whatever they want. And I'm like, no, you are not. I'm punching in these codes. I'm looking at everything you're doing, and I'm going to throttle you. I'm like, I see that you've been on this iPad for 2 hours. We're cutting it off, sir. And then I'm getting phone calls. I'm like, what happened to my iPad? Well, Mom is in control, so.
Oh my gosh, that is so good. Well, this has been a game changer for our health.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
It's been a cultural shift, I think, for us, and it's the last point that I want to make, which is consistent bedtime and sleep times. Tell them about how we've done this. Like, our kids, they've slept in their own bed. They've slept throughout the entire night. Like, tell them how we've created a culture of sleep.
Yeah, I mean, our kids have certainly not slept through the whole night as newborns. They were always rooming in with us, that kind of a thing. I think there's an age appropriateness to when you're making that transition, and it's different for every family, right? So I will say, though, we have prioritized consistency in bedtime routine for our children. I have had friends and people that I know who just let their kids stay up all day and night with them. Their kids are going to bed at 10, 11 o'clock at night with the parents, and then they're wondering why they have kids throwing tantrums and acting out, and there's a lot of problems with behaviors and all these things. Well, I did a lot of research and just studying about sleep, and kids have higher sleep needs than adults. And our each individual child in our family has different sleep needs. And so I think
that's true. Like, one kid sleeps a lot longer. Like, Paxton sleeps probably 12 hours a night. Right? And then, I would say Isaac, he sleeps, way less.
Yeah, he has different sleep needs.
Even I sleep probably 2 hours less than you, or an hour less than you. No, maybe an hour less than you.
Yeah, so I think it's being in tune with that. And then also, having our kids have structure around bedtime also creates more space for us in the relationship. So if our kids are up all throughout the night and they are placing demands on you and I as a married couple, which we were before we ever started having kids, it also cuts into the time that we have to connect. And families and parents don't think about that enough, is that when the marriage is healthy, when the mom and the dad are healthy in relationship, that immediately benefits the children. So by creating structure around the bedtime, getting the kids in bed at a decent hour, creating space for mom and dad to connect every day, that is also super beneficial and important to health. And I think in this wellness culture, there's kind of a sentiment that you just sacrifice yourself on the altar for your kids and let them just run over you all the time, and to hell with your marriage and everything else, as long as you're breastfeeding your baby every single night and it's in your bed with you until they're 2. No, I'm serious. There's whole cultures around that, and if that works for you, if you're watching, then keep doing what works for you. But I'm saying there's a lot of people that doesn't work for, and it's okay to create structure around bedtime for your children, not just for them and their health benefit, but also for your relationship.
Wow, mic drop right there. And I want to commend you, babe, because I know that you were the one that led a lot of these initiatives, and so I really appreciate you cultivating a culture of longevity and wellness in our family, and just appreciate all the things that you've done. So if you've enjoyed this content, please share it with other family members. If you're a grandma, send it to your kids. If you're somebody that's got a family, send it to some of your friends. But we'd love for you to subscribe. Click the bell button to notify you of more amazing high performance health, family, longevity, individual high performance wellness tips. We'd love for you to get that information. And anything else?
That's it.
That's it. Thanks so
for
much.
watching.